The word today is inner peace. The affirmation says, I express the peace of God. Peace, be still. With these words, Jesus claimed his authority and calmed the stormy waters. Following Jesus' example, I too claim authority. In a stressful moment, I center my awareness in the divine presence that lives in me and expresses through me. This divine presence is perfect life, love, and wisdom. It is the peace that nothing and no one can disturb. No matter what may be happening around me, at the center of my being, there is always peace. It is an aspect of my divine inheritance, as near as my next thought. I release all fear and tension and embrace the peace of God. As I do, divine peace radiates from the center of my being. It clarifies my thoughts, calms my emotions, and relaxes my body. In every situation, I am a presence of peace. Isaiah 26, verse 3. Those of steadfast mind you keep in peace because they trust in you.
Won't you stand for the Black National Anthem? Lift every voice and sing till earth and heaven ring with the harmonies of liberty. Let our rejoicing rise high as the listening sky. Let it resound loud as the rolling sea. Sing with us. Lift every voice and sing till earth and heaven ring with the harmonies of liberty. Let our rejoicing rise high as the listening skies. Let it resound loud as the rolling sea. Sing a song. Sing a song, full of the faith that the darkness has taught us. Sing a song, full of the hope that the present has brought us. Facing the rising sun, another day begun. Let us march on till victory is won.
Come on in, beloveds. Welcome, welcome. Come on in and have a seat. So happy to have you here. Welcome to Unity of Sacramento Live. My name is Reverend Eric Ovid Donaldson. I'm the Senior Associate Minister here at Unity, and I'm so grateful that you're here. On behalf of Rev Kev and Anita, our board of trustees, our wonderful staff, I would like to wish you and yours a happy Black History Month. Yes, it is Black History Month, and I'm so excited about this because, you know, Black history is not just observed annually here in America. It has gone so much farther than our shores. Black history is now celebrated in Ireland, the Netherlands, Canada, and the United Kingdom. And so it's gone global, as we say. And it is more than just a celebration of American history, which it is, but it is now a celebration of the African diaspora. And so it's a very important element in our human history. And it is something that is very important for me. For I have had what I call brushes with Black history. Perhaps you have too. I'd like to tell you of one such brush with Black history. It happened back in the late 1980s. I was working alongside of one of my mentors, the great motivator, Les Brown. And we were in Detroit at that time at the famous Penobscot building where he had his offices. And on this particular day, a phone call came into the office, and I saw Les take the phone call. And he stayed on the phone call for about 5-10 minutes tops, and then he called me into his office, and he said, "Eric, I want to know if you are available to be a bodyguard for someone that we need to get from Detroit to Chicago tomorrow afternoon. Are you up to that?" And I said, "Well, yeah, I'm your mentor. I mean, you're my mentor. I'm your mentee. I'm here to do whatever, helps the cause. So yes, I'm up for it. I'm in. Let me do it." And he said, "Okay, I'll put you down and I'll make the arrangements and we will have our special guest back to Chicago tomorrow evening." And I said, "Okay, great. So who am I bodyguarding?" And he said, "Well, you may know her. Her name is Rosa Parks." And my eyes lit up, and I said, "Oh my goodness," to myself. And so I said, "Okay, I got to get ready for this. I'll do a great job. I'll make sure that she gets there in one piece." And he said, "Yeah, you better, or all of history will know about it." And so, still excited, I go to my home in Detroit. I was born and raised there. My mom and dad was having dinner at the time. I come through the back door, and they're there at the table, and I'm excited, and they're saying, "What's up? What's happening, Eric? Why are you so excited?" And I said, "Get this, wait for it. I'm about to be Rosa Parks' bodyguard." And my mom and dad looked at one another and started laughing. And I said, "Well, didn't they hear me?" I said, you must not have heard me correctly. I said that I am going to be Rosa Parks' bodyguard on her train trip back to Chicago." And then they laughed some more. And it wasn't until about 5 minutes later that I understood why they were laughing. They weren't laughing at the fact that I was going to take Rosa Parks back to Chicago. They were laughing because I don't make such a good bodyguard in their eyes. At that time, I was maybe 50 pounds lighter than I am now. about 150 pounds wet, as they say. But after they laughed and the laughter died down a bit, they really acknowledged that, wow, this is a wonderful opportunity to spend some time with and to get to know a Black history, an American history icon. I can still see her to this very day. I see at that time her hair had turned gray, but her face was the same as it was in all of the pictures that I had seen in the books that I read, in the history texts that I had in high school, and all of the other places that I had seen her images. It was quite a moment, and I can still remember it to this day. The next time that I saw Rosa Parks, it was when she was lying in state or in honor in the Capitol, the United States Capitol Rotunda, when she had made her transition. One of very few people who get the honor and the privilege to do so. I stayed in line for over an hour and a half just to go past her one more time. Have you had a brush with Black history? If so, I want you to type it into the chat room right now. Who did you have a brush with Black history with? Maybe it was someone like Rosa Parks, like me, or perhaps it was someone local in your area. Maybe it's somebody that's in your family that did something historic. Better yet, after you do that, let's talk about those people that you find to be heroes and sheroes. Let's go to the virtual friendship hall and talk about your brushes with Black history. The virtual friendship hall takes place shortly after today's lesson, sermon, and service. I can't wait to have that conversation and learn who you have had a brush with history with. And you never know, because history is continuing to write itself. And you never know, someone you chat with today may be someone you'll be talking about tomorrow as Black history. So what a month we have in store for this month. We are going to start a series entitled The Good News According to, The Good News About. And in this series, we're going to talk about some phenomenal Black luminaries that you need to know. People such as Mildred and Richard Loving, Shirley Chisholm, Stacey Abrams, and Vice President Kamala Harris. Oh, I can't wait. This is going to be wonderful. And we're going to culminate the month with Freedom Sunday. If you've ever experienced Freedom Sunday here at Unity of Sacramento, you know that you are in for a treat. It will feature Reverend Charles Cooper, Chakra, and the expressions of Unity Choir. And it is something that you don't want to miss. And so we have a big month ahead, and I'm so excited that I get to start it off. And so today, we're going to have the honor and the privilege to learn a little bit more about the lives and the achievements of Congressman John Lewis and the late civil rights activist C.T. Vivian. Today, we're going to delve into the lessons that these two extraordinary individuals left us in a subject that I'm entitling The Good News About Good Trouble, celebrating John Lewis and C.T. Vivian. Let's start with John Lewis, a civil rights activist and former United States congressman. a son of sharecroppers in rural Alabama, a place called Troy. He had an early desire to preach at the age of 5. And by 15, he was preaching, and Martin Luther King Jr. called him the boy from Troy. By the age of 23, get this, the age of 23, he was arrested 24 times for acts of nonviolence and civil disobedience. 24 times by 23. But he wasn't finished there. He became the president of the Student Nonviolent Coordinating Committee, also known as SNCC. And he was the president there from 1963, when I was born, to 1966. He coordinated peaceful sit-ins at segregated lunch counters, freedom rides on segregated buses, and voter registration in southern states, which resulted in the Voting Rights Acts of 1965. There was an increase in Black elected officials in southern states from just 72 in 1965 to 388 in 1968, due in part to the success of SNCC and the leadership of John Lewis. But what gets me inspired about John Lewis is what happened just a few years ago, back in 2016. It was a congressional sit-in on the House floor at the Capitol in Washington, D.C. And this happened over 50 years after his first sit-in in the early 60s. Over 50 years passed, and he's still making good trouble. Over 170 lawmakers bought in and participated in the sit-in. And during the sit-in, Lewis posts on his Facebook these words: "We have a mission, a mandate, a moral obligation to speak up and speak out until the House votes to address gun violence. We have turned deaf ears to the blood of the innocent and the concern of our nation. We will use nonviolence to fight gun violence and inaction." While this sit-in seemed to fail, it continues to be relevant today. And it was far more effective than the last protest that we saw at the Capitol just a month ago. Lewis's career and accomplishments were well chronicled and documented in books and documentaries, movies and stage plays, news clips and congressional records. And I'm proud to be the one that sponsored John Lewis as a peace emissary in our Peace Plaza here at Unity of Sacramento. He's special to me. And he's another brush with history from a heartfelt space. But then there was C.T. Vivian. And let me tell you about C.T. Vivian, because a lot of people don't know C.T. Vivian as well as they know John Lewis. And so let me set it up by saying this. If Martin Luther King was Jesus, C.T. Vivian would be John the Baptist. Vivian's involvement with civil rights and nonviolent protests began in 1947, when Martin Luther King was in his last years at Morehouse College. The two would come together to organize many marches and peaceful protests in the 60s. The New York Times called C.T. Vivian a disciplined advocate of nonviolence. He also received the Presidential Medal of Freedom and has provided counsel for over 5 different presidents. He founded an organization that would help low-income students become college students with scholarships called Vision. And we now know it as Upward Bound. And many of the ministries and organizations that Reverend Vivian founded or co-founded are still operating or have been inspired by him today. Now, both of these men, both of them went through great trials and tribulations and struggles. Both have been beaten and brutalized on multiple occasions, and yet they persevered. John Lewis, his skull was fractured during a march on Selma. And Vivian was punched in the mouth by a sheriff on the steps of a courthouse. He also nearly drowned on another occasion. What can we learn from Lewis and Vivian as a person or individually or as a collective that is building the beloved community? What can we learn as we work toward creating a world that works for us all? Well, one of the things that we can learn from both Lewis and Vivian is the power of nonviolence. The power of nonviolence can create change even in a society founded in violence. You got that right. You heard me. America, though its intention was freedom, it was founded in violence. And it almost seems antithetical that nonviolence would work in such a society that has been steeped in the value of violence. But it does. You see, nonviolence is the ultimate example of civility. And as we have seen and as we continue to see, without civility, it is difficult to govern anything effectively. How can we govern cities and states and nations if we can't even govern ourselves? Both Lewis and Vivian participated in the Student Nonviolent Coordinating Committee, and their founding statement speaks volumes about their intention and commitment to nonviolence. I want you to listen to it. This statement says that we affirm the philosophical or religious ideal of nonviolence as the foundation of our purpose, the supposition of our belief, and the manner of our action. Nonviolence, as it grows from the Judeo-Christian tradition, seeks a social order of justice permeated by love. Integration of human endeavor represents the crucial first step towards such a society. Through nonviolence, courage displaces fear. Love transcends hate. Acceptance dissipates prejudice. Hope ends despair. Faith reconciles doubt. Peace dominates war. Mutual regards cancels enmity. Community and justice for all overthrows injustice. The redemptive community supersedes immoral social systems. And by appealing to conscience and standing on the moral nature of human existence, nonviolence nurtures the atmosphere in which reconciliation and justice becomes actual possibilities. Although each local group in this movement must diligently work out the clear meaning of this statement of purpose, each act or phase of our corporate effort must reflect a genuine spirit of love and goodwill. What did you hear in that? Was it the word justice, goodwill, mutual regard, hope, love, acceptance? These are values that we also have that work well together with the values that we have here at Unity of Sacramento. And so nonviolence has its place in unity. There was a story that was told at SNCC, and it was a story about another SNCC member by the name of James Lawson. You may have heard of him. And in this story, James Lawson and some of the members of SNCC are there at another protesting nonviolently. And Reverend Lawson is in front of a white person who spits in his face. No, this wasn't Martin Luther King. I know he got spat in his face as well. But there was a lot of spitting going on in that time. And so this man spat in Reverend Lawson's face, and Reverend Lawson just politely asked him for a handkerchief. And the man gave him one. He wiped his face, gave him his handkerchief back, and said to him, "Are you into motorcycles and custom cars?" And he said, "Yeah, how did you know?" And he said, "Well, I could see that, you have some things on your coat, and I can see that might be an interest for you." And soon he started to ask him questions about how he went about customizing a vehicle. And before you know it, they were engaged in a civil dialogue, a civil conversation, much to the amazement of those around them. Through nonviolence, Lawson was able to flip the script, and to turn what would have been a violent encounter into a civil one. Nonviolence is powerful when you know how to use it. It can help bring people together and find common ground. Even Vivian had an encounter with the power of nonviolence, only this time he was on the other side. His first encounter of nonviolence was when he was retaliating for something that he felt someone done to him, and the person refused to strike back. And of course, there was a crowd around, and then when the guy finally went away, the people that were around Vivian began to pat him on the back and said, "You sure did scare him off. Boy, what a coward he was." But in his heart, he felt that the other guy had won because he would not engage in combat with him. And then he knew there's something about the way in which nonviolence connects with the conscience, with the heart, with the soul of men. Nonviolent action is a function of love, which engenders goodwill. And unity intrinsically stands for nonviolence. And guess what? All Christian and spiritual organizations don't. Our organization calls for peace regularly all throughout this movement. Unity churches worldwide sing, "Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me." This is a call for the end of violence. I don't know if you knew that when you were singing it, but it is. It's a call for the end of violence in all of its forms, and to do so by leading the way. Let it begin with me. Did you know you are a leader? It's calling on us to marshal and govern ourselves in peace first. So therein lies a beautiful connection where we can relate as new thoughters, as we can relate as spiritual beings with power to create our earthly experiences. And so nonviolence is one of those things that we can take hold of that Lewis and Vivian taught us. And we can add it to another thing that Lewis and Vivian were really good at. And that was to lead by way of inclusion. Inclusion in a society that seeks to be exceptional only to find itself in seclusion right now, sheltering in place. You see, leadership leads by example, not by exception. We call this inclusive leadership. It's leadership that doesn't really want to have people follow, but want to inspire people to be leaders in their own right. And Vivian and in Lewis, we have someone who did that exquisitely. They were phenomenal at it. Vivian founded and incorporated the C.T. Vivian Leadership Institute. And he did so to create a model leadership culture in Atlanta, Georgia. You see, building leaders builds character. And it's a character that we can carry forth in all of the things that we do and bring more people along, engaging and enrolling people in the good that we do as forces for good in the world. And so as we become a force for good in the world, it is not to force our beliefs on somebody else, but it is to engage and enroll them in the vision that we have for us all. A vision of good, a vision of love, a vision of peace, a vision of joy, a vision of prosperity that we all can share in. Inclusiveness is a unity core value. And the very name unity speaks to the pursuit of inclusiveness and the truth about oneness. We are one with God. We are one with all people. We are one with all life. This is the mindset. Yeah, they may not have been new thoughters as we think ourselves to be, but they have had the mindset of inclusivity. Lewis and Vivian. You know, Vivian's son was asked in an interview about the things he remembers most about his father. And this is what he said. He said, Dad's goal was always unity, cross-racial unity, helping people connect across racial bounds. It's just huge for me, he said, that that's what he always wanted to have happen. He said, Dad used to say, life is in relationships. And I would hear this again and again, and it wasn't until I was an adult that I understood this. It's not about what you know, but it's about the relationships you form in life. We understand our oneness with people, our oneness with life, our oneness with God. And we are ready to demonstrate that in the world. And we have wonderful examples in Lewis and in Vivian to help us understand how to do it and to do it effectively. One last thing that I want to share on this. It's this idea that I've been hearing about Martin Luther King, and perhaps you've heard it too. It's this idea that the movement wasn't successful because King didn't replicate himself. And so when he was gone, when he transitioned, there was no one to step in his place. And I'd like to disagree with that, because I'm very clear that these individuals, King, Lewis, Vivian, and so many others, though you may not have heard of them, though you may not know them as well as you know Martin Luther King, they were powerhouses and rock stars in their own right. What they were able to accomplish, what they stood for, what they were committed to, what they were able to do was absolutely incredible. And we are living on their shoulders. We are living on their accomplishments right now. And not just Lewis and not just Vivian, but everybody that was in the movement, following them, working with them, studying with them, and committing themselves to nonviolence. Every single one of them, black, white, or otherwise. They were committed to inclusiveness. They were committed to nonviolence. And it worked because we're here and we are still in the fight. We're still in the movement. Which leads me to this final thought on what we can take from the lives of Lewis and Vivian. It's the idea of transcendence. Did you know that Vivian wanted to be a doctor? Early on in his life, he knew he could affect and impact lives as a physician. And he said at the first time that he took chemistry, he knew that this wasn't it. This was not what he was born to do. It wasn't what he was meant to do. And it wasn't because he wasn't good at chemistry. What he came to understand about himself is that he didn't feel right fixing people, his words, and then sending them back out into the conditions which broke them. He wanted to find something that would help people to rise above their current circumstances. Transcendence. The ability to rise above whatever comes before you. Not in a hooty-snooty way, but in a way that brings community together in order for us all to thrive. Transcendence. Another word that we might want to use is ascension. Because as we do that, as we come together as community and work with one another on behalf of each other, we find ourselves moving, climbing, growing, unfolding, coming together, coming into a new understanding and level of being. They understood this, they envisioned this, and there was no turning back. With transcendence comes an overcoming. With transcendence, there is no rescendence. There's no turning back, no turning around. It's nothing but a climb to the top. Triumphant. I want to leave on this scripture from Habakkuk. It comes from the 3rd chapter in the 19th verse. It says that the Lord God is my strength, and God will make my feet like hinds' feet, and he will make me walk upon my high places. Let me say that again. The Lord God is my strength. Type that in the chat room. And God will make my feet like hinds' feet, like the feet of deer. And he will make me to walk upon my high places. If you've ever been in the mountains, if you've ever been in the forest, if you've ever seen a deer climb a high mountain, you understand the strength and the power that is in their hind legs. It holds them up when the terrain can be rocky or muddy. It keeps them moving forward with each step. It grips the terrain, and yet it also is able to release it when it needs to. It pushes off with such powerful force that it propels them higher and higher. It's my prayer that there was something that I said, that there's something that you heard, there was something that you felt that inspired you to know your strength in God. That inspired you to begin to move your feet. That inspired you to begin to climb and ascend whatever mountain that you face. And when you do, and when we do, we'll look over and we will see what is possible for all people as we continue to work for the world that can work for all. In the name, the nature, the consciousness, and the conviction of Christ Jesus, I see it so. Now let's go make some good trouble.
I have the pleasure to present to this great audience young John Lewis, National Chairman, Student Nonviolent Coordinating Committee. Brother John Lewis.
Those who have said be patient and wait, we must say that we cannot be patient. We do not want our freedom gradually, but we want to be free now. We are tired. We are tired of being beaten by policemen. We're tired of seeing our people locked up in jail over and over again. And then you holler, be patient. How long can we be patient? We want our freedom, and we want it now. We do not want to go to jail, but we will go to jail if this is the price we must pay for love, brotherhood, and true peace. I appeal to all of you to get in this great revolution that is sweeping this nation. get in and stay in the streets of every city, every village and hamlet of this nation until true freedom comes, until the revolution of 1776 is complete. We must get in this revolution and complete the revolution. For in the Delta of Mississippi, in Southwest Georgia, in the Black Belt of Alabama, in Harlem, in Chicago, Detroit, Philadelphia, and all over this nation, the black masses are on the march for jobs and freedom. They're talking about slow down and stop. We will not stop. All of the forces of Eastland, Barnett, Wallace, and Thurman will not stop this revolution. If we do not get meaningful legislation out of this Congress, the time will come when we will not confine our marching to Washington. We will march through the South, through the streets of Jackson, through the streets of Danville, through the streets of Cambridge, through the streets of Birmingham. But we will march with the spirit of love and with the spirit of dignity that we have shown here today. By the forces of our demand, our determination, and our numbers, we shall splinter the segregated South into 1,000 pieces and put them together in the image of God and democracy. We must say, wake up, America, wake up, for we cannot stop, and we will not and cannot be patient.
Y'all, come on, y'all know that? Can we go back just a little bit? Y'all gonna go with me? All right, here we go. People, keep on learning. Soldiers, keep on warring. World, keep on turning. 'Cause it won't be too long. Yeah. Powers, keep on lying. Y'all see a lot of that going on, right? While your people keep on dying. World, keep on turning. 'Cause it won't be too long. Oh Lord, y'all know this, sing with me. I'm so glad that he let me try it again. 'Cause my last time on earth I lived the whole world of sin. I'm so glad that I know more than I knew then. Gonna keep on trying till I reach my highest ground. Yeah, come on. Listen. Teachers, keep on teaching. Ready? Preachers, keep on preaching. Hey. Word, keep on turning. 'Cause it won't be too long. Yeah, y'all remember the last verse? Come on. Lovers, keep on loving. And all of you believers, keep on believing. And just in case anybody sleepers, won't you just stop sleeping? 'Cause it won't be too long. Hey, oh Lord, help me with this part. I'm so glad that he let me try it again. 'Cause my last time on earth I lived the whole world of sin. I'm so glad that I know more than I knew then. Gonna keep on trying till I reach my higher ground. Yeah, come on, help me say that. Till we reach a higher ground. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Till I reach my higher ground. And this is my message. Don't you let nobody bring you down. Yeah, we're gonna go higher. Hey, we wanna go higher, 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 higher,
And so grateful that you are a part of our Love Month and our celebration for Black History Month. All of that is just the kickoff for a year-long celebration of lifting up the excellence of African American achievement and those from the African diaspora. So I want you to just take part all month long and then spread it out over the next rest of our year, okay? And the rest of your lives, because we're really normalizing excellence and making neighbors out of strangers, yeah? This is what it's all about, telling our stories. Well, thank you so much for being a part of our Unity of Sacramento journey. We especially appreciate your support at this time of year. It helps us to focus our giving and to make sure that the impact that we're making with this ministry goes far and beyond these walls, especially now. You may have heard that we've had one of the most devastating winters, and we lost lives over the last couple of weeks in the storms that happened here in Sacramento. So your generosity will allow us to reach out and provide support to our unhoused neighbors and other ways that we will be giving back during this pandemic. So this is our time to bless our tithes and our love offerings. It's your opportunity to make Unity of Sacramento your tithing target. And I want to just acknowledge and thank those of you who have stepped up, who have responded and have become tithers and are becoming recurring givers to this ministry. We appreciate you. And I get reports that it's happening. So I appreciate those of you who are responding. And I want to invite the rest of you to take a walk in faith this year and trust God with everything, including your financial resources. When you sow in this spiritual community, when you sow in this ministry, you are working with an unfailing ancient principle that when you place God first, God promises in Malachi, I will open up the windows of heaven and pour you out a blessing you have not room enough to receive. But here's the beauty of it. You are actually enlarged in the process so that God shows up taking the perfect form that you need when you need it, when you operate in this level of faith. Give me some hearts and thumbs up if there is a witness out there who knows the ways in which the presence takes your seed and makes a forest out of it. I'm a witness. I'm a witness. So let's take a moment and find out all the ways that you can give to Unity of Sacramento right now.
Visit our website at www.unityofsacramento.com. Right there at the top of the front page, you will see a donation button. Click there to visit our safe and secure push pay portal. Another easy way to give is through our Unity of Sacramento app. Download the app on your smartphone or tablet, and on the front page, look toward the bottom of the page for your giving heart, which will also take you to our push pay portal. You can also write us. Send your letters to Unity of Sacramento, 9249 Folsom Boulevard, Sacramento, California, 95826. So many people are shopping online, and if that's what you like to do, then support us through Amazon Smile. Visit smile.amazon.com and designate Unity of Sacramento as your charity of choice. You will automatically be making a contribution to our beloved community. And of course, You can always make your donation by using Venmo or Cash App, as seen on your screen.
Let's take a moment to bless our tithes, our love offerings, our recurring gifts, however you have been inspired to give to this ministry today. Let me just take a moment to bless it. Divine love in and through you blesses and multiplies all that you are, all that you have, all that you give, and all that you receive from the storehouse of God. God's rich supply comes through, to, as, and for you right now. Thanks God so much for so much. Amen and amen. Well, you know that we have to say goodbye for now, but we will be right back here next week. And so we want you to join us. And you can also jump in our news broadcast that's coming up right after this, and then hang out with us at our virtual friendship hall that will follow that. And you'll get to see us eye to eye and face to face via Zoom. It's our way of staying connected with you and just keeping a check-in on our spiritual community each week. Well, until we meet again, let's go forth and design a life of purpose, passion, peace, and prosperity. And let's be a force for good in the world. Peace. happy Sunday. Welcome to another edition of Unity of Sacramento News Live. I'm your host, Rev Kev, here with my main man, 100 Grand, in the building, Rev E.
Hey.
How you doing there, brother?
I'm well today.
Yes, you are. And we are so excited to be celebrating Black History Month. Really, we are kicking off the celebration of the excellent accomplishments of people from the African diaspora who happen to live in these United States. And we know for sure that Black history is American history. And I'm sitting next to someone that is worth celebrating himself.
Well, likewise, my friend.
We keep making history.
Let's keep making history.
I'm telling you, I think they found your fossil remains the other day. I love my guy. We are also celebrating our birthdays for February. Who are we celebrating in February, Brother Rev?
Happy birthday to Tim and Mike Ross.
My baby brothers, Mike and Tim. Happy birthday, boys.
To Anthony Carl Mack.
Carl, happy birthday, Dr. Carl.
Roderick Hunt.
Brother Roderick, happy birthday.
And Reverend Lisa Davis.
Happy birthday, Reverend Lisa. We are so happy for all of our February birthdays. You bring something extra special to all of our lives. You know, you got that's that peace energy that kind of comes in with those folks in February, yeah?
Yeah, it's something Aquarian about that.
It is. And we've got some more February folks that we're going to be celebrating. So happy birthday, February. We love you, we bless you. And you know, you kind of slipped in on the love month after all. Yeah, this is the love month in Unity. So we're excited. We're also celebrating individuals who have said yes to the call of spirit and identifying with Unity of Sacramento as their spiritual home by the act and rite of spiritual baptism, our new members. We want to let you know that during this shelter-in-place time, though our physical property has been closed, our heart has been opened, and we are still welcoming new members. Is that not amazing?
It's wonderful.
Yes, and so who are we celebrating? Who are our newest members of Unity of Sacramento?
Congratulations to Marla Brangaccio.
Welcome, Marla. We're so glad to have you with us.
Carla Gregory.
Welcome, Carla.
Deanna Kiger.
Deanna, welcome.
Ina Southern.
Welcome, Ina.
Kaylin Footman.
Welcome, Kaylin.
And Mardell Marino.
Welcome home, Mardell, and all of you. We are so delighted to welcome you to the Unity of Sacramento fold. We are indeed looking forward to walking alongside you and being your support system as you take this first step, this first significant step in spiritual community together with us. Thanks so much. And I'm so happy that we were able to come up with an innovative way using technology, because we really and truly believe that the presence of God is everywhere. There's no absence of the presence of God anywhere. And what was great is witnessing how people created sacred space in their homes.
Yes. Brought their friends in.
Yes, being able to welcome their loved ones to participate. So it was wonderful.
Yes,
very, very happy. We're so glad. And if you're thinking about becoming a new member of Unity of Sacramento, check out our e-blast and our app and the information that's available to let you know when the next Unity 101 is and when our next spiritual baptism is. We'd love to have you with us. Isn't that great? Fantastic. We're not letting this pandemic get in our way.
No, not at all.
Not at all. We have an important class coming up that we're very excited about. Starting February 22nd, we are calling it the Jesus Journey. And it is going to follow the life and the teachings and the legacy and ministry and mission of Jesus the Christ, moving from the cradle all the way to ascension. And we're going to answer some of your most important questions about Jesus and how we look at Jesus. And Rev E and I are tag teaming this course, and we can't wait to get started. And I'm going to learn a lot from him, and he knows it all. So
Yes, I'm going to. You know, I'm going to learn so much.
We're going to learn. We're going to learn together, and it'll be our way of walking through the Lenten season right now. Okay, so it's a wonderful way. We're going to look at the teachings and his particular approach. We're going to look at Jesus from his social justice activism role. Did you ever think of Jesus as an activist? Well, You're going to find out more. So plan to join us for the Jesus Journey beginning February 22nd. And you can get information right here on the screen. You can also use your PushPay app to register. Go to our Unity of Sacramento website to register. You know how to register. Get in where you fit in. We want you there. It's going to be a great one.
Oh man, I can't wait.
And I like the twist. I like the twist because we often segment and learn about him all over the place. Bringing it all together and relating it to today is what I'm excited about.
It's going to be fantastic.
Indeed, indeed. Well, also in February, we have our annual membership meeting. This is required time together. Our bylaws call us together once a year so that we can give you the state of the spiritual community report from your board of trustees, also from our dream team here, the Unity of Sacramento staff. We'll give you updates on what's going on in the ministry. And also we'll have an opportunity to vote on 2 seats that are available on our trustee board. And that's very important. And this is where your voice counts. And so to get you ready for our annual membership meeting, we are going to send you a test link so that you can practice voting. You're not going to actually be voting for anyone specific, but just to get you ready for the technology. So if you are an official member of Unity of Sacramento, we want to make sure that your vote counts. And so take the time to use the link that's in your e-blast or on our website or through the app and give it a try so that when we have you on the last Sunday in February, you're ready to go. Looking forward to it. We got some exciting things to report.
Well, you would think that in a pandemic, nothing happened, but that's not the case. We have so much to report out.
Yeah, everything happened.
Yes.
Everything happened during this pandemic, indeed. We have assembled together, thanks to our administrative manager, Janelle Smalls, a resource folder that's available to you and your loved ones on our Unity of Sacramento app, where you can find out how to get the services that will support and equip you through this pandemic, including where you can get tested and vaccinations and all of those questions you might have. Check it out. It's in our Unity of Sacramento app, the resource folder. Check it out. All right. We're also aware of the impact that this pandemic has had on many people's lives, and we are also in touch with what feels as if the breath has been taken away from our country and away from our world. And people are literally in hospitals on ventilators, struggling to breathe. And so Rev E and I have been prayerfully working on a tool that would enable us to bring some of that back, create some relief, and give people a practice. Because one of the things that I'm hearing quite regularly from individuals is, I don't know what to do from day to day to just keep it together. And so we have developed a tool that we believe will be helpful, that will support people 52 weeks from the time they receive it. We call it Breathing Space. It is the book, Breathing Space. 52 weeks for a 52-week journey for centered, soulful, and successful living. And I want to congratulate my brother Rev for, this is the first time I've shaken your hand since March.
I tell you.
And co-authoring this important work with me. Breathing Space brings together the practice of meditation, contemplation and reflection, and journaling. And so it gives people a way to slow down, and a week by week practice and process that will enable people to repossess their breath and see clearly the path forward. Very excited about that. I want to just read the dedication if I can.
Go right ahead.
And then let's talk about a little surprise we have for everybody.
Okay.
Cool? It says, to a breathless world, weary with the fatigue of a double pandemic, may these pages offer you a safe space to exhale, rebuild, and repossess your breath and the promise it is for humanity's future. And so this is kind of the driving force behind it. What can we contribute back in these times where literally the breath has been taken away from us by so many events? It's just been nonstop. And so we feel this is going to support so many people. We can't even count them. Those that are new to meditation, those that have a practice already and have maybe need of support. We want to equip you with a tool. And we are happy to announce, in order to make sure that you have some hands-on guidance from us, we will be offering the Breathing Space Retreat.
Yes.
Absolutely. That lit you up, didn't it?
It did.
It lights us up because we will have a chance to walk you through a process, not only how to use this book, but how to engage the practice of meditation, how to use the tools of provocative questions, question prompts to take you deeper into reflection, and how to get the most out of your silent time and the stillness. This is going to be happening on March the 27th. That's Saturday, March the 27th. We want you there.
Save that date.
Save the date. And for every person who registers for the retreat, you will automatically receive a copy of Breathing Space.
Not a copy, an autographed copy.
Because you got to have an autographed copy of Breathing Space with your registration. The information is now on your screen. You can go using our website and app and register right away for this important Breathing Space Retreat. We're looking forward to it. Get ready. We're going to be taking a powerful journey together.
Yes, absolutely.
Can't wait.
Can't wait to get my breath back.
And with that, we look forward to seeing you in our Unity of Sacramento virtual friendship hall that'll happen in just a few minutes as we wrap up this episode. And of course, see you back here next week.